CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Naja Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. And right off the top, we are tracking the tropics. Helene has already strengthened into a tropical storm. It is expected to continue intensifying and impact Florida in the coming days. Storm preps are already underway in western Florida as people there brace for the potential impact. Let's get right to Next Weather Chief Meteorologist and Hurricane Specialist Ivan Cabrera with the breakdown.
Yeah, it's going to be a big impact, Naja, for the western coast of Florida. South Florida here, we're going to have impacts along the Keys. I think there'll be minimal impacts, so for Broward and Miami-Dade, we're not expecting a big wind, and the rainfall, I think, will be manageable over the next few days. But let's talk about it right now. Things are still quiet like yesterday, upper 80s to around 90s, but already seeing that southeast wind flow beginning to push in with that tropical moisture. This is not the outer edges of the banding from what is Helene now, but just that pattern that is going to set up here for the rest of the day. I think we'll be in for a few showers across southern Miami-Dade. This is where the storm is. It is now a tropical storm. Remember, yesterday we had the potential of it. Now it's a bona fide TS here with 45-mile-an-hour winds. That's a 2 p.m. advisory. We'll get a new cone coming up at 5. Hope you join us for that on CBS Miami. There it is, becoming a hurricane, count 1. As we head into Wednesday morning, we'll wake up with Hurricane Helene, and then, of course, this will have the potential to rapidly intensify. It's going over just perfect water here. There is some wind shear and there is some dry air to its west, so we're not expecting this to blow up into like a count 4 or 5, thankfully, but it is going to be a potent hurricane as it approaches the Big Bend of Florida, and that'll happen Thursday night around 8 o'clock landfall there with 115-mile-an-hour wind. And everyone to the east, because it's going to be such a strong storm, even Tampa, not in the cone, you are going to get to storm surge there, and even all up and down to the west coast, which is why we have that storm surge watch. And then, of course, the big rainmaker for the rest of the southeast. Here's a close-up of it. So Thursday, 8 a.m. This is what I'm talking about here again. So the potential for 1 to 3 feet in the Key West and the lower Keys, and then even more so heading up towards Tampa. That is where we're going to have the potential for several feet of storm surge. So let's take you area by area here. Tropical storm warning from Key West all the way to Big Pine to the 7-Mile Bridge, and then east of that we have a tropical storm watch, which means tropical storm conditions are possible. I think for Miami-Dade and Broward, so far no alerts. We don't even have a flood watch. That may change, but I think the rain should be manageable here because it's going to be a prolonged event here. The rain begins tomorrow and continues through Friday, 3 to 4 inches potentially, and the wind's not going to be as gusty, 25 to 30. But let's put this in motion. This is the next part of the storm here as far as the wind field. There you see the tropical storm force winds beginning to come in on midday tomorrow through the Florida Keys here, Key West 40, 45, but still looking at 20s and 30s for the rest of South Florida. The dangerous winds, of course, are going to remain offshore. Thankfully, I think we'll peak in Key West with wind gusts, not sustained, around 50 to 55. Things, as I mentioned, for the rest of the evening, though, looking pretty quiet. The rain won't begin until we head through tonight and into tomorrow, which is why we have, of course, the next alert for high rain chances and locally heavy rainfall with some flooding for both days, and that will begin to improve as we head to Friday and into the weekend.
Ivan, thank you. Developing story. The son of Ryan Ruth has been arrested. Ruth is the man arrested in the apparent assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump. We are learning that his son, Orrin Ruth, has been charged with possessing child pornography. Investigators say they discovered hundreds of files while searching his home in North Carolina. It was in an unrelated investigation. And now to another developing story at this hour after shots rang out in Miami Gardens. CBS News Miami's Joan Murray is piecing it all together.
And we are along the 2500 block of Northwest 161st Street. You can see it is a busy scene out here, lots of police cars and yellow tape. Now this scene goes all the way down the block, around the corner to Northwest 27th Avenue. So here's what we know about this situation, according to police and the mother of the accused shooter that I spoke with. So what we are told is that the man who lives here on this block had a visit from his nephew. The nephew does not live there, but at some point they got into an argument and it got heated, and the man is accused of shooting his nephew. That nephew apparently ran from the house bleeding, ran all the way to busy Northwest 27th Avenue, ended up in that strip mall on Northwest 27th Avenue, and that is where paramedics found him. Police tell me that he was taken to the hospital and is in surgery. We do not have a condition. Now, I spoke to the mother of the accused shooter, and she tells me her son is a good citizen, not in trouble, but she is saying that during this argument, apparently, that the nephew made a threat toward her son, and that is what led to the shooting. But this is something that police have to piece together. They're still in the very early stages of this investigation. So the man who the accused shooter is being detained. The nephew is in the hospital in surgery. In Miami Gardens, Joan Murray, CBS News, Miami.
A creepy sight for people on their commute to work this morning. It's on the Palmetto in southwest Miami-Dade. That is a clown on the overpass. He was between Bird Road and Coral Way. Traffic cameras caught the clown walking back and forth, then messing with an American flag. It is unknown why the clown was there. We are now seeing the moments a chase through Miami-Dade County turned into a crash in Miami Beach. One person died and a trooper's patrol car wound up in the water. CBS News Miami's Terry Hornstein walks us through the video.
With sirens on, a Florida Highway Patrol trooper tries to pull over the driver of this white Mercedes on I-95 near Northwest 119th Street. All of this unfolding Saturday around 2 in the morning. Instead of stopping, the driver, who FHP says is 20-year-old Andrew Martinez, weaves in and out of traffic, getting off and then back on the highway, at several points almost crashing.
We're now going 195.
The suspect then heads east towards Miami Beach. Troopers say clocking speeds of more than 130 miles per hour. But when he tries to exit towards Alton Road, this happens. He loses control, wrecking the trooper's patrol car, ending up in the water. FHP says Martinez and 3 others bailed from the wrecked car, but the trooper was able to stop 2 of them.
Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
But Martinez, they say, and one of the passengers in the car kept running and eventually jumped in the bay.
Another one bailed on you? Huh? Yeah, there was 2. There was 4 of them. Where'd they go? Down this one, right over here. They went on that direction.
The driver did surrender. The missing passenger's body found the next morning by Miami Beach police. A wild ride that would end with someone losing their life.
That was CBS News Miami's Terry Hornstein reporting. Next, 2 major changes for teens who use Instagram, how it makes the platform stricter for its youngest users when we come back. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Election Day is now just 6 weeks away, and both presidential candidates are spending time campaigning this week in the key battleground state of Pennsylvania. Former President Donald Trump was there yesterday, and Vice President Kamala Harris will be there tomorrow. Both of their visits come as polling shows the 2 candidates in a tie. Next weekend, Trump will return to western Pennsylvania for a rally in Butler. That was the site of the first assassination attempt against him. And a reminder, there are only 13 days left to register to vote in the November election. The deadline in Florida is October 7th. To find out what you have to do to register, just go to our website at cbsmiami.com. The Federal Aviation Administration told House lawmakers Boeing has a ways to go on its safety overhaul program. The FAA administrator testified before a House panel today. It's the first of 2 days of hearings about the airplane manufacturing giant.
So that's what we're looking at, is just to see that there's a real safety culture, not just safety's first as a slogan, but a real safety culture that permeates everything that's done and comes first before production goals or operational goals or mission goals or financial goals.
He testified 90% of his agency's budget goes to sustainment, not new systems. As the world marks Climate Week, some cities are exploring ways to transform into what are called 15-minute cities. The concept promises to reduce car trips and emissions by putting homes and workplaces all just a short walk away. CBS News Miami's Bradley Blackburn has more on the idea and why some say it's oversold.
This has so many of the different 15-minute city ideas.
That's right.
In the heart of New York City, the West Village is almost like a small town where residents stroll to restaurants, shops, and entertainment without leaving the neighborhood.
Everything is accessible.
NYU urban planning professor Solly Angel says it's why so many people want to live here and pay a lot for the privilege.
It's not a 15 city in the sense that the people who work here cannot afford to live here.
It's too expensive for the people that are working in those shops.
Absolutely.
But the 15-minute city movement aims to bring walkable communities to more people in far more places. The idea was popularized in Paris a few years ago. In the U.S., cities like Portland, Oregon, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and Cleveland, Ohio are exploring the concept.
We have been a nation that has prioritized automobiles.
Cleveland's mayor, Justin Bibb, told us the city recently changed some zoning rules to become more pedestrian-friendly.
Everybody wants clean air to breathe, safe water to drink, and a good job you can get to and not be stuck in traffic for hours.
But the concept has prompted conspiracy theories online, falsely claiming it's a form of permanent lockdown. And there are real concerns about how it might fuel segregation.
With schools, we already begin to have an issue.
Professor Angel thinks the 15-minute goal ultimately won't work, especially for workplaces.
The whole productivity of the city comes from individuals being able to have access to a lot of jobs and firms to have access to a lot of workers.
Still, a global conversation has started as cities adapt for a changing climate. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Instagram is making big changes to its platform. The goal is to protect youngest users. The social media platform put new teen account settings into place today. This means users under the age of 18 will automatically be set to private and placed in the strictest messaging settings. Only people they are connected with already can send them messages, tag them in photos, or mention them in comments. In the move, Instagram will block young users from seeing notifications between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. That's your CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Naja Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami, and have a great day.